Okay, so you can hear a little static in the background. I apologize for that. Anyway, so, I've heard a lot of people saying, especially on the left, which is a liberal, who are against Trump. Donald Trump, I think you know who I'm talking about, the 45th President of the United States, the one that's running right now. People accuse him of all sorts of things, and I'm here to set the record straight. Who is Donald Trump? Or at least, what's he done? So, first, let's say they call him sexist. Now, this is kind of funny because there's a thing in law called the burden of proof, and it's usually when the plaintiff is accusing the defendant of something, you have to provide substantial evidence for that claim to be considered. Otherwise, it goes up to the burden of proof is on the person who accuses, not on the person who is being accused to confirm it. So, first you have to suggest that Donald Trump is sexist. Okay, let's say he's sexist, but then, evidence of this? One, few things. Usually they say it's because he said, about 15 years ago, something like that, she would grab a woman by her pussy. Yep, you've heard that before? I thought so. So, this was consensual, and it doesn't make him a sexist. It just, if you look at the context, you would see that he was talking to someone else about how easy it is to do stuff when you're famous or whatever, and it was consensual. So, is that sexism? I don't think so. Let's look at the definition. So, sexism by definition is prejudice, stereotyping, or discrimination typically against women on the basis of sex. I don't see very much prejudice or stereotyping or discrimination based on sex there, because that's what he's attracted to women. He has a wife, he has a daughter. You have to provide evidence of him being sexist. Okay, so there's that. He also may have said, he said Hillary can't run for president because she's not a woman, but it's just because women tend to be, as a general rule, more emotional, so it would be harder for women to run because it would be more pressure on them, and they tend to have more breakdowns and stuff like that. So, yeah. And a lot of people tend to like a strong male role model, or whatever the stereotype may be, for president, which is why it's not based on the basis on sexism. It's based on leadership and how males lead and stuff like that, which is generally what happens. But anyone can be a whatever. So then there's racism, of course. Yeah, let's call him racist. The problem with calling someone racism is, of course, it's the burden of proof. So, if you're going to call someone racist, you have to have evidence for that. You could say, he doesn't like Mexicans. Now, he hasn't said he doesn't like Mexicans. What he said is he doesn't like illegal immigrants. That means illegal people coming in from the border, and that's a whole other issue, but it's not sexist to want to protect your country. It's like, why do you have a gate on your house? Why do you have security on your house? You don't want people to come in without your permission. We don't have permission. We have undocumented people. They work illegally. They sell drugs. And they disproportionately kill people and rape people, which is a fact. So it's not sexist or racist to suggest that Mexico shouldn't come here. He's welcomed legal immigrants. His wife is a legal immigrant. So if his wife is a legal immigrant and he supports legal immigration, how is it racist? So then there's also, for that to happen, you would have to suggest that everyone who is in Mexico is one race, which is a kind of racist a little bit, to suggest every single Mexico is Latino or whatever, which is not the case. Just because you like American values does not make you a racist. That's a fallacy. I think Donald Trump's been doing okay. I don't agree with him on the idea of global warming. I think that's a problem. He also gave a thumbs up on like a picture with a baby who lost his parents with in a school shooting. I think, or just another shooting, which is kind of bad of him. So I do acknowledge points where he messes up. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm saying he's not racist. He is not sexist. Is he homophobic? He's supported the idea of gays. He hasn't said anything. If he was homophobic, I would probably assume he would want to get rid of the legal same-sex marriage. He doesn't seem to be doing anything like that. So, and he said he supports LGBT people. So he's not homophobic if he actively supports it and is against anyone who is homophobic. Then there's transphobia. Oh, transphobia. That wasn't even a thing until like 10 years ago. Anyway, so he doesn't want transgender people in the military, and this is for a number of reasons. So it's mainly just one reason. So one reason would be people in the military can't have any mental disorders. Transgenderism, unfortunately, is a mental disorder, which is why 42%, I believe, of transgender people end up committing suicide, which is awful. That's more, in a group of people, that's even more than Jews under Nazi German rule. That is insane. I feel terrible for them. So they can't serve in the military because of that. But being in the military is not a right. It's not anyone can just go into the military. And, you have to be, first of all, in a mentally sane condition, or at least mentally without any problems. So transgenderism would be one of them. Another one may be schizophrenia, something like that. You can't go into the military with stuff going on in your head, or if you're unfit to serve physically. This goes into the mental thing. So he's actually protecting trans people by not exposing them to something that is very traumatizing. Like, people in the military, they get a lot of terrible things happen to them, and it's kinda to suggest that someone can't serve in it than to let them serve. Okay. I don't think Donald Trump is a bad president. He's not the monster everyone wants you to think. Let me bring up some statistics here. Why Trump is not that bad. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm not saying he's the worst. He is not bad. Okay. 4 million jobs have been created since he has been in office. It's been about 3 years, so let's say, because it's been 2016 to 19, let's say about 3 years. 5 million people in the Middle East have been liberated. Since Trump began in office, ISIS had 35,000 fighters and 1,700 square miles of land. Now there is only 1,000 fighters and less than 20 square miles of land. They have practically defeated ISIS. Median household income is $62,450, which is the highest ever, adjusted for inflation. Black, Hispanic, Asian, and women unemployment rates are at an all-time low, which is pretty insane. 4 million people are off food stamps. If you are terminally ill, experimental drugs can be taken now, which haven't been approved yet, which gives you a chance to save your life. Deported and or arrested thousands of MS-13 gang members, which I believe is a gang in Mexico that come over to the US illegally. And they pressured, I want to pronounce this right, NATO, to pay their 2% goal of GDP, which raised $100 billion, which takes pressure off the US. The wall, of course, everyone loves the wall. If he goes through with it, it only costs about 20 billion to make, and it's going to stop the 500 billion lost in drug trafficking every year. The Treasury Department reported on October 15th, 2018 that the budget deficit rose from 666 billion to 779 billion, which is an increase of 113 billion or 17%, which is the GDP growth. Anyone who Van Jones is, he's I believe he is a leader of CNN, like a leader in chief. My apologies. He said that Donald Trump is bringing the country together, which is quite ironic because he's in CNN, which is quite left, and he stopped war with North Korea, Kim Jong-un at the Singapore summit. Very helpful. Possibly he should have gotten a Nobel Peace Prize for that. I'm not too sure. Oh, my apologies. One last thing. And he beat Hillary Clinton, so that's a win. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I just went on there and I just, said what I had to say, unscripted. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell me what you think. Honestly, like, Donald Trump, I don't think he's bad. He's not the monster everyone thinks he is. Come on. So thank you for listening. I can make more of these if anyone wants. But for now, I will see you later. Bye.